Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
And welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this September the 1st. It happens to be the first Saturday in September, opening day of dove season. And I'm one of your co-hosts, Dave Gabbard. Got Frank Barton Power Sports, been sitting in the chair over there. And, of course, the high-low potentate himself, Larry Ray, sitting over there. But I've got the control of the mic for this segment. But, if you've been listening to the show all morning, we've kind of had a mixed bag. We started with deer, and we went to ducks, and last segment was archery. But now we're going to kind of switch gears again, and we're going to talk fur. And if you think about it, I always told somebody one time, if you think about it, fur was the main reason this country was settled. That was one of the main reasons why we had what they called the French and Indian War. England and France was fighting over this country, wanting the fur. So, but we got a special guest in the studio today, Mark Moore from Humboldt. I guess, president of the West Tennessee Fur Takers. And he's going to tell us about their big event coming up, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Outdoors himself, Larry Ray.
Wow. Now, that's and he did pretty good, didn't he? Well, I didn't think he was going to get any applause.
That deserved applause.
Yes, it did deserve applause. Okay. Thank you, Dave. One day we're just going to let the whole show be Dave because he's got stories to tell. But, hey, I've been wanting to do a segment on trapping. My good friend Jay Walling, who's also a member of Legacy Outdoors Outfitters with me. We meet every last Thursday of each month out at the Memphis Mid-South Sporting and what is it, the long title out there, the Gun Club out at off of Brownsville. But an event coming up in October, Mid-South Trappers Rendezvous. That's October the 13th, and not only did we have Mark Moore on this segment, he's actually come from all the way from Humboldt to be on this show. I said, Mark, we can do it by phone, but he just happened to catch the Greyhound bus at the right time and dropped him off out here. No, thank you, Mark, for being here. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Larry. Thank you for having us on. Really excited about this event we've got coming up. It's the Mid-South Trappers Rendezvous. I know a lot of your listeners probably know what a Trappers Rendezvous, but I'll bet you there's some out there. Some of the ladies don't.
We'll talk about it. If somebody drives up there? Well, tell us if somebody would drive up there on October the 13th and in Humboldt and hosted by the West Tennessee Fur Takers. What would they see?
Well, traditionally, now I want to get a little before Humboldt.
Okay.
Traditionally, the trappers and the traders, the fur buyers, the beans and taters and lead and gunpowder folks, they all met to a rendezvous, and the trappers sold their fur. The vendors, they were selling powder and lead, and it was a big event. A few people got drunk, and way back in it goes back into the mid to early 1700s.
Jeremiah Johnson, even before him. I mean, you think of trappers, we think of him, but this goes all the way back to some of the Lewis and Clark people up in there that they would run into, the Hudson Bay Company,
yes.
Things along that line. So you're talking about over 200 years.
Hudson Bay continues to operate now under the name of North American Fur Auction, but they go back years and years and years and years.
So you guys will we have traditional dress and a lot of things like this?
No, I mean, we're pretty much your neighbor.
Okay, all right.
Your cousin or your uncle that get up every morning before work for a couple hours of being outdoor, and they run a small line, probably a mixed bag. West Tennessee Fur Takers, we exist for two reasons.
Okay, what's that?
We're out to promote ethical trapping and trappers' education and trappers' rights. And then the other reason that we exist is we provide a fur sale at least one a year. In our case, it's always the last Saturday in February.
Okay.
Currently in Brownsville.
All right.
But what we're trying to do is give the 21st century trapper, whether he's hobby or a longliner or whatever, a place, a market to sell his fur.
So how did you get started?
Well, I was just a unexperienced trapper. I didn't have a long history. My daddy didn't trap. My grandfather didn't trap, but I had a good friend loaned me 6 traps and told me over the phone how to catch a raccoon, and I made every mistake in the book, but I knew I loved being out, and that was back in the late 70s in the heyday.
Okay.
I remember I trapped an old raccoon, and I got $32, and I was used to, you were talking about squirrel hunters earlier,
right?
That they're a dying breed. I was out there shooting a 25-cent shotgun shell and came in with a little squirrel, and I went out, got the same outdoor experience, and I had a $30 raccoon, not now, but then, and I didn't know what, I knew I liked it right away.
And it is, it's something that a lot of people don't realize in this fast world today, that there is a place that you guys come together, and a rendezvous we know, as Dave said, and Frank knows, is a meeting together. So talk about what leads up.
Okay.
You're going to have some demonstrations and things.
Yes, we've probably got, there's no probably, we've got some of the finest animal trappers that, that
I'm looking here.
in the United States. We've got probably Mark June, at least in the trapping community. He's probably one of the more well-known. He's listed as
strategic.
He's one of the top America's top predator trappers.
Really, and he's listed as a strategic approach.
Yes,
and so he's going to be talking. You'll have demonstrations and talking. So
we'll have a demo area. He'll talk about all aspects of canine trapping and cat trapping. He also runs a Trappers Academy. Has since 2014 out of Texas. People from all over the U.S. go and pay big bucks to learn how to be one of the top 1% trappers in the U.S.
And you've got him twice. He'll be up there twice, and this is all going to start. Let's see.
Starts at 8 o'clock Saturday morning.
Guest registration at 7 a.m. Trapping demos start at 8 a.m. and you'll have vendors.
Yes,
you'll have games.
We've got vendors.
Oh, you got a fish fry.
Tailgaters.
Oh, a fish fry.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, the noon meal. You've got to be. It's an old-fashioned catfish meal. It's our major fundraiser for the year. But catfish fries, white beans, slaw, brownie, all you can eat.
Man,
it's gonna be a get-down feed.
Dave, don't leave now. You got to wait now. So anyway, that's door prizes, and so you can spend a day, and I'm assuming this is at a facility.
Yes, this is at Bailey Park in Humboldt. It's a city park. They have primitive camping facilities. If you want to come up Friday night and camp, like all the activities will start Saturday. I've got a couple other people. I've got to mention a fellow out of Micah Severs. He's out of Kentucky. A Jeff Mangus. Everything Turtles is what Mr. Mangus.
Everything Turtles, okay.
If you're on YouTube, you may know about Tim Roper.
Yes.
He's a beaver snaring expert, and he's also known as the Meat Trapper.
The Meat Trapper.
And then you talk about your friend Jay Wallach.
Yeah, Jay will be there.
He will be doing skinning and fur handling all day. We'll have things for the ladies. We're going to have a ladies' skillet toss.
A ladies' skillet toss.
The men will have a trap setting contest, and the ladies are going to have a skillet toss. And it's kind of like the old punt, pass, and kick.
Yeah.
They see how far they can throw it. And we're going to have egg toss and three-legged sack race. So it's family-oriented, clean, wholesome, outdoor activity. If you're interested in trapping, you'll be able to get some.
And a fur hat making with Bobby Holiday,
one of our own club people.
I've always wanted one of those. He'll make a skunk hat, or will he make a?
I don't what. Maybe he makes
Davy
coyotes,
hat,
bobcats, coons, skunks.
Yeah,
he can do it all.
Will he sell those that day? Will he be? Are they available?
They are. All of our vendors and tailgaters, they'll have some interesting merchandise to sell. We're supposed to have Jackson Area Wide Beekeepers Association is going to have a honeybee booth. TWRA will have a booth there. we're looking for more than just trappers, hunters, hunting clubs.
So you have this every year?
Yeah. This is the first time we've had it on a multiple state level.
Oh, okay.
Most all trapper clubs in that tradition, they have one every year. But we are trying to pull United Trappers of Kentucky, Southeast Missouri, Southeast Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. And I got to do a shout-out to my Tennessee brothers that are not associated with the Trappers Association, but it's Tennessee Fur Harvesters, and we work really close with them. And Trappers, we're united, and it's a good family thing, and it's just great. But you don't have to be a trapper to come.
That's
bring your
what
wives,
we're gonna say. Yeah.
Bring your kids, bring your grandkids. They will have a blast.
I really don't think Mark's too excited about this, do you? I mean, I think he's pretty low-key about this event. But the enthusiasm that Mark Moore shows right there, hey, folks, this is a tradition that I know. I'm a city boy. My wife grew up on a farm. Other people like that. I can still be my best friend who passed away a couple of years ago, Woodard Tigner, out of Bolivar. His daddy was a trapping fool. His daddy and his daddy's brother were, and until their 90s, they were still out there trapping.
Well, you have to realize back then, a couple of generations ago, farmers, when they got their crop out, they went to trap. They had traps. That was another source of income.
Hey, folks, that's October the 13th. Mark Moore, thank you for coming down here from Humboldt. Thank you very much. Real enthusiastic. Mark it on your calendar, folks. October the 13th. Up at Bolivar. I still want to say Bolivar for some reason. Humboldt. All right.
You won't want to miss it.
You won't want to miss. Thank you, Mark. Quickly, let me tell you about next week's show. We're going to have, of course, Ron Wong will be in on second Saturday, and so will John Gordon. I know we're going to talk some waterfowl with John and talk some fishing with Ron. And we're also going to talk about the Hunter D. Stafford Memorial Wild Game Supper coming up on September the 8th out at Holly Grove Cumberland Presbyterian Church. 1,500 people out there. It's one of our biggest wild game suppers, and Jimmy Stafford will be on talking about his late son, Hunter, who was killed by a boater. The boater was drunk and killed this young man, and this young man wanted to be a preacher, and so they have started this wild game dinner in his honor. And also a little fishing tour. Bob Sundstrom, he is the owner and designer for Odin Lure Company. That's all next week on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Guys, thank you all for being here.
Just one tip for the dove hunters.
I'm heading out there. I need it. Okay. All right.
If you've bought a new shotgun.
Yes, sir.
Look in that box and make sure you got your plug in your gun.
I can say that, from experience.
You'd be surprised. People buy a new shotgun, and they go put it together and they forget what that little... Especially, that little green stick that's still left in that box.
Yeah. You know, only 3 shells in there.
Only
right?
3 shells.
Okay.
And you need to discover it and not your friendly game warden.
Oh yes, that's right.
You need to find out that it's not in there, not him.
Yes, that's right. And you also need to find out, make sure that feels good too. But I know I'm going to have a great time.
Yep.
All right, Sheldon McCall, thank you.
And for, like Frank, if you're taking your dog out, make sure you guys got plenty of water on a day like today.
That's true. And you too.
Yeah.
And I'll have plenty of water as long as my stool holds up. I mean, things I sit on.
Oh, okay. We won't get into that.
No, we won't get into that. We'll just end the show with that. All right. Talk to y'all next week. This is Larry Ray reminding you to do each and every week what? It doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport, and what?
God bless the USA.